Well, get your mind off the hurricane. We got to talk about more discrimination at the Long Island Railroad once again, with in regards to connect with us. All right, so they say they're holding more events at stations across our system, and it says here, LIRR President Catherine Rinaldi was joined by senior staff at the Merrick station this morning for our Connect with Us event. So, yeah, they were doing this at Merrick. That's right, where they're not going through. You could see the news truck there because, again, these people, they're important. They're white finance professionals. All right, so therefore they get all the attention. And you can see here, there isn't a single person of color here, by the way. It's so obvious who they serve. I should really start calling this the Long Island Racist Road because that is what they are. This is a racist organization, the MTA, particularly the LIRR, though I imagine this is all across the whole LIRR. And, of course, that truck you see over there belongs to News 12, and that's what we're going to talk about it because, I have to actually talk about News 12 again, gearing to a certain demographic again, gearing to the, look at her, I mean, come on. So let's play this here, and you'll see they say that they don't have many complaints over there, and you'll see because they're in Merrick. Of course they don't have many complaints.
Talking to commuters today, trying to get opinions on their ride. Do they like it? Do they not? And what's going right or wrong? News 12's Macy Egland is in Merrick for us.
Of course.
With some of the surprising
it's Macy Egland, of course.
Yeah, it was really interesting, Tara. LIRR and MTA officials were here to hear from commuters, whether that be complaints, compliments, or just to ask questions as part of their Connect With Us event. And at least here in Merrick, people were very happy with the service. They didn't have complaints. They said,
of course they're happy with the service. They get the best of everything down there. Of course they're happy.
Very clean. The trains are on time. The conductors are very nice. So that is all great news. But we know that this does come at a time when we are seeing an increase in crime on LIRR trains. We recently looked into the numbers here at News 12. So far this year, there have been 154 major crimes on the trains, already surpassing all of what
and I
we
bet
saw
most of them happen
in
to be on the main line.
And a big problem specifically lately is people falling asleep and having their stuff stolen. So the MTA is adding 60 officers to ride on peak trains in the new year, hoping that will ease any concerns and bring back more commuters. And people we spoke with say that's a great idea.
I think there should be because there hasn't been. It's 0 to something.
We have an excellent police department. We have excellent onboard staff. Security should not be an issue on board. Should not be a reason why people don't come back to the Long Island Road.
Now, the MTA and LIRR hold these Connect With Us events about every month at different stations so they can continue to improve their service.
Well, you should come to Mineola.
Here at Merrick, like I said, people are very happy, but we know that's not the case at every single LIRR station.
No, it's not, especially in the main line.
Still waiting to hear back about exactly when and where this next Connect With Us event will be, but we'll keep you posted.
Yeah, and I'm sure you won't be there. If it's in the middle of the island, I'm sure you won't be there. You certainly didn't attend that press conference at Passengers United a few weeks ago. So there was a more updated version of that story, actually. Of course, they don't have it on the website. We will actually look for it. But they did have a more updated story that they aired this evening. We'll see if we can find a more updated story of it. But it does not look like they actually have the updated story on it. Of course, they do not. So that is not a surprise with them. But, it's just so obvious what's going on here. And meanwhile, they don't go to Mineola to talk about. They don't. I don't know why they don't have the updated story. Let's just see something for a minute. And we'll see if we can find nothing about it. Well, they don't even have the updated story. That's how bad they are. Hang on. This might be the updated story. Let's see if this is it. No, that's the same one. So they do not have. They have it in the alert center. But no, they don't have an updated story. They only have that one story. But they interviewed a couple of, people in suits dressed up, in their story. So, but anyway, that's one thing that we want to cover. All right, regarding this. So the other thing that we want to talk about here, and it'll lead into this, is the safety, power, and politics. All right, so this was talked about on the Long Island Railroad. Crime is up on the Long Island Railroad, and but do they pick the middle of the island to do this story? No, they do not. They go to Babylon.
This week on News 12's Power and
because
Politics.
Again, those people in Babylon.
Feels like it's the 80s all over again.
She's really
Keeping
important.
commuters safe.
She's white. That automatically makes her more important than everybody else.
The LIRR getting its own police unit.
There's a clip from Hicksville, but there won't be a Hicksville.
How the new unit will protect riders in response to growing safety concerns. Plus,
I lose everything.
Riders and employees.
So here we go. We're going to listen to this here.
Campbell has more on this boost in police presence and the protection it's expected to provide.
It's very scary sometimes. Laura Conway, who for years has commuted to her job as a legal assistant in New York City, says she often does not feel safe on the train. Lisa from Babylon agrees.
I'm always surrounding myself with people and making sure that I'm okay and looking for the police officers wherever I can just in case.
And according to numbers just
you gotta feel safe,
by
right?
the MTA, Lisa and Laura are right to feel concerned.
Notice there isn't a single person of color
there.
there.
A report that showed during the first half of 2022, major crimes
I guess
on
people
the
of color
Long
don't
Island
deserve to be
Railroad
safe, right?
were up
According to you, anyway.
71%. As a result, starting this January, MTA police officials say 60 train patrol officers will ride LIRR trains and Metro North
showing some
trains
clips from
during
Hicksville.
morning and evening rush hours. A big part of the plan includes police officers walking through the entire train, where they will be able to speak with commuters and hear their concerns. Many of the commuters at the Babylon train station that we spoke with who were heading to work were relieved to hear about the plan to have MTA police officers ride the rails.
I agree with it 100%. It is tough commuting and it feels like it's the 80s all over again. So I'm appreciative of any extra support we can get on the trains.
Having a police officer on the train would be comforting.
It's just nice to have the boys in blue nearby just in case. You never know.
I think it'd be a nice thing to have the police presence on the trains, keep us safe, keep our commute safe, and we feel more comfortable on our train ride in every day on our way to work. So I think it's a positive thing.
I just want to get to work safely and come home safely. That's all I care about.
Danielle Campbell, News 12, Long Island.
See, why don't they do this story in Hicksville or in Mineola or in Ronkonkoma, or how about Wyandanch or Brentwood? Those people are really dealing with a lot of crime around their stations. But no, they don't do that because there aren't enough white people, and that's what this network serves.
And again, those
I'm sick of it. I really am.
changes will take effect in January. Joining us now.
So that's good. It's good that they're doing this. All right. However, it's only rush hours that they're doing this. What about people who ride off peak? Shouldn't they have police on the trains too? And my concern is, of course, is when this does roll out, that we're going to see a lot of this devoted to the South Shore, and we're not going to see enough on the main line. We'll see. But anyway, now they're going to interview the newest board member from the MTA about this.
As Suffolk County's representative on the MTA board, Sammy Chu of Lindenhurst.
Lindenhurst, another one from the South Shore. I mean, you have the PCAC chairman, Gerard Bringman from Patchogue. He's from the South Shore. Nobody from the middle of the island. I mean, what is going on here?
For being here, we appreciate it.
Thanks, Rich. Thanks for having me.
So you're new to the board, obviously. A lot going on as it relates to mass transit, people returning to work, returning to the system. But let's talk about this issue of adding police presence on the LIRR. What do you make of it?
I think it's a great idea. It's been no secret. That public safety has become a really top issue for a lot of people as it relates to the region in general, not just on the transit system. So I think it's a great thing, a move in the right direction, and it's important, and it's clearly a top priority that we have to address.
Well, this is just one of the ways it seems that the MTA and the LIRR are trying to work to bring people back into the system. It's an ongoing effort, of course, since the start of the pandemic. We are seeing those numbers start to rise, though. MTA Chairman Jano Lieber says the hard work is paying off. Take a listen.
We've hit new records every week since Labor Day, and several times a week. And on the different on our different services, we're hitting records on the subways. We're hitting records on commuter railroads, on Metro North and Long Island Railroad.
Well, last month, weekday ridership was still only at about 60% of pre-COVID levels, but that was up a bit. And again, those numbers continuing to increase.
The weekend
now in
ridership, though, is
September
up quite a
people
bit,
return
but
to
we're not
school,
going to talk
return
about it.
back to the offices, etc. Sammy, what do you think should be done to further accelerate the process of getting people feeling comfortable to return to the LIRR?
Well, for one, you got to stop leaving people stranded on the main line. How about that?
So I think, as you mentioned, and as the clip from the chairman, as he stated, we're starting to see some encouraging figures come in. Since Labor Day, we have broken ridership records on a number of occasions. That's both for weekday as well as weekend travel, which is encouraging. And that in and of itself helps. When we see ridership numbers up, we'll have to see how we're still in unprecedented times post-COVID. But there's a general feeling that when there's more people on the system, it also creates a safer system because, when you have more people around, there's certain types of crimes, and I would think the crimes that people tend to be most afraid of are less likely to happen.
And that's a good point. When there's more people around, people feel safer. And that's the issue we have in the middle of the island, especially in Mineola, where there aren't many people around. They're downtown and at our train station, so it does make you feel less safe, and that's the problem. The South Shore has more people. They've come back, but here in Mineola, it's a different story.
When you have more populated trains. But I think public safety, the announcement this week with adding, 60 dedicated officers on trains, I've gotten tons of positive feedback. Since I've joined this board, I've become a bit of a help desk. I get people reaching out to me on Twitter and text, and I have
Maybe I should get to tell him about what's going on the main line. Sammy Chu, why don't you help us get shuttle buses?
Not a large number of people in my circle who are daily commuters and frequent commuters. So I think this is a step in the right direction, and I think it'll definitely bear fruit in terms of bringing public safety back.
And I think that's footage from Hicksville before it was renovated.
It's actually making the system safer, which needs to be done. And then perhaps the harder task, which is, may lag, is creating a perception that it's safe.
A big part of your new role here, as you mentioned, is advocating for people who reach out to you with questions and concerns. And one of the questions that's been out there right now is the MTA focusing enough specifically on the LIRR? The MTA came under fire recently for crumbling conditions.
Here we go again. They're going to talk about Valley Stream again. Meanwhile, Flora Park is left out, which is in way worse condition. And Mineola, which is under a renovation, we don't have any other elevators other than the old ones that constantly break. But again, nobody talks about that because it's all about the South Shore.
The LIRR station.
Remember, those people, they're important, man. They're important. They're the movers and shakers in finance. They deserve to have safe, reliable trains. The rest of us, not really.
It's a story we covered here on News 12. Dangerous crumbling concrete there, rusting metal, paint peeling away, falling on.
You should go to Flora Park where you can fall off the railing and fall to the street to your death.
Has critics talking. How about your colleague on the board, NASA's David Mack? Here's what he said in a meeting earlier this week. He called for a full-time president of the LIRR.
I do agree with him on that.
We must get a president for the Long Island region.
I do agree in sentiment that the
we had Phil Eng, and he was a great president, but he got forced out.
The Long Island Railroad, as a large commuter rail, does merit its own president in that consideration. But I will say, we're going through we do have a lot of projects. We have a big rollout at Grand Central Madison, and I do have to take the opportunity to say,
look at them. Just look at them. Look at this guy over to the left. I mean, it's so clear what these people represent.
They
represent their own kind, the white finance professional.
time on the board when I've had issues and needed responsiveness from President Rinaldi. She has been there every step of the way.
Oh, of course, you think it's great.
Well, as you alluded to there in the meeting, right now, Catherine Rinaldi is serving as the interim president of the LIRR, while she also serves as the president of Metro North. The MTA, for its part, says it is doing and continues to do rehabilitation work at that Valley Stream station. But, Sammy, how about the idea of an interim LIRR president that right now is splitting her job, her time with Metro North? I mean, this is a tough job.
Yeah, it's too much. I agree.
It absolutely is. And I think, the title is interim president. But President Rinaldi is serving in the capacity fully and dedicating everything she has to the position. And as I said at the meeting the other day, she has been super responsive, and all the feedback I have got, all the external feedback I have gotten is overwhelmingly positive. And the internal feedback, she is super well respected within the agency, super well respected, extremely respected.
A lot of the employees don't respect her either.
Part of the organization for a long time. And
Phil Ing cared about us. She does not.
We are in a critical time. We have a lot of projects in flux, that are rolling out and coming to completion. Whether it's a third track, which is an enormous benefit to the system, as well as Grand Central Madison, which is rolling out later this year. So I think she's doing a terrific job. The title, it's the answer is inherent in the title. It's interim. This is a solution that is the best solution right now to make sure that
we had Phil Ing, and if you didn't force him out and intimidate him, and a lot of racist things were also said about him. I know this guy's name is Sammy Chu, but he looks like a white guy to me, so I don't know. But Phil Ing was forced out because he didn't roll with Wall Street. He cared about everybody, and that doesn't go with the MTA.
Run well and gets us through this period of transition. But as I said the other day, it's definitely, and my colleague, Mr. Mack, he's emphatic about it. I agree that the conversation, is with merit because we're on the largest commuter rail in the country, and that's only going to grow when Grand Central Madison comes on board. But with that being said, President Rinaldi is doing a great job, and I have every bit of confidence
what else is he going to say?
She's the right person to help us get through this period.
Great job for you on the South Shore.
Projects are coming online.
All right, last topic here: congestion pricing.
All right, I'm not going to go into that because we were already rolling with this 10 minutes. There's one more thing we got to talk about here with the Long Island Railroad, and again, people on the North Shore complained about express train service, and of course, once again, the people on the North Shore have money too, and they get what they want to. And this is just another classic example of it.
Reversing course and restoring express train service on the LIRR after an outcry from Long Islanders. News 12's Tama Ponton is live at the Port Washington station. And wow, Tama, this is really something big for an agency like the MTA to change.
That is exactly right, Joe, and the MTA says it made that change because
Meanwhile,
of the outcry
we've been complaining about no shuttle buses and people getting stranded on the main line for years throughout this project, and we get nothing. We're not heard at all. This is what makes me furious, all right? But no, because these people have money, because they again, North Shore has money too, they get hurt, and because Port Washington also is a pretty white town.
Long Islanders here on the North Shore, they got together after hearing thousands of riders complain about that express train service. State and local lawmakers came together, and the MTA says they changed things because of it.
Our express trains are back. Thank you. Not all of them, but it's a start.
The movement in Nassau County pleading with the MTA to save our express trains worked.
We heard loud and clear how important this.
And there's Anna Kaplan using this, of course, as a political opportunity. She's running for re-election. And we know her office has done diddly squat for us. Anna Kaplan, you should be ashamed of yourselves, because I've complained to your office and so have other residents in Mineola about the state of our train station, about not getting alternative shuttle buses when the trains are shut down, and you have done diddly squat for us. So it's obvious who she serves. Once again, it's all about these white people with money. If you're not in a white area full of people with money, then you're going to get forgotten. I mean, this is ridiculous.
This was to the community here out in Port Washington. Express service to Penn was the #1 takeaway from our public hearings.
Today, the MTA announced 3 new morning and 3 new evening rush hour express trains into Penn Station are going to be added for riders on the North Shore. As News 12 has reported, thousands of people submitted public comment, attended public hearings, and pleaded with the MTA and their elected officials after the MTA said back in the summer it was eliminating express train service to Penn for North Shore residents.
We've been begging, please don't wait till December to, surprise us with the new schedule. We proposed some change and we asked for some change.
The community really stepped up and said, we want our trains back.
The MTA says it reversed course because riders made it clear that canceling the service would negatively impact their lives. The restored service, according to
Would negatively impact. Yeah. What about this mainline modernization project that we've been dealing with now for over 2 years? It has significantly negatively impacted my life as well as the lives of people in Mineola, but yet nobody seems to give a crap about that.
The MTA will improve trip times by up to 9 minutes for riders from Port Washington, Plandome, Manhasset, and Great Neck.
Now, look, I don't disagree with their decision. I wasn't right. They should have kept express service on the North Shore. They should not have taken away. I agree with that. But the point is, they complain, they get what they want. But us folks in Mineola, we complain, specifically me, almost every damn month, and nothing gets done. Everybody at Passengers United complains, nothing gets done. All right? Because we're not all finance professionals. We don't have money. We're people of color. We have disabilities. So therefore, we don't count.
Now, actually, one of those riders just came up to me and said he was part of the people trying to save our express trains, and he says it was because commuters got angry and spoke up about it that change happened. Now, as for when you're going to see those express trains rolling on the tracks, well, the MTA says that they will go when the Grand Central Madison service starts, which they say is scheduled to happen before the end of this year. In Port Washington, I'm Tama Paulton, News 12, Long Island.
So there you go. And, of course, we're going through another weekend where the trains are going to be shut down this weekend again for more mainline weekend track work. So, again, the same deal. You know the deal. And the thing is, these overnight shuttle buses that they're saying are there, they're not. People are getting stranded. I've heard people are getting stranded at Hempstead for shuttle. There's supposed to be a shuttle bus that goes to Mineola for Oyster Bay customers. They're getting stranded there in Hempstead. It's dangerous there. They're leaving people stranded. But yet nobody really cares about that, right? No. Nobody cares about that. But, stop the presses. The important people who work on Wall Street with the white skin, they're getting inconvenienced. We got to stop the presses, all right? And even when things aren't going wrong and things are going great for them in Merrick, for instance, we got to say, oh, that's great. We have no complaints. That's great. That's great. You have such a great service from the Long Island Railroad where we get treated like crap in Mineola. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that makes me irate, and I really didn't want to have to do this video. I've got the storm to cover and stuff, but this is an outrage. It could not wait. Again, and we're going through yet another week of this with the train shut down again. And here's another lie. It says hourly service will be provided from Penn Station to Hempstead, but that is not the case because if we look at the Hempstead, and it's been that way all summer long, you'll see you're only getting hourly service to Atlantic. You have to change at Jamaica for Penn Station. So that is a lie. And then they're lying about the buses too, the overnight shuttle buses. People are being stranded. The taxis are loving it, and it's done tremendous harm to our community. And I'll be very happy to speak at the next MTA boarding meeting and be even less nice than the last time. I think I was a little too nice. I think I need to be a lot less nice next time because I've just about had it with this organization. And it's so obvious what's going on, and it makes me irate, and I'm not going to stand for it. I'm not going to stand for it. It's racism in 2022 in one of the so-called most progressive states in the country. Happens to be also one of the most racist. It's unbelievable. That's it.